and welcome back to another live session of drawing with the Paintology drawing app used from the Google Play Store for Android users. And here we have the app on the home screen. It has, if you have not installed it and downloaded it, you can please go to Google Play Store, type in a search for Paintology app, and download the app to your phone. It's completely free. And once you've got that downloaded, you'll be able to make impressive drawings like the ones you've seen on the channel. And also we're going to make complete drawings in one go, one sitting in these live sessions. So I have been using the phone in landscape mode because YouTube working out a technical issue with the portrait mode. So I'm operating the phone in landscape. So the drawing that we're going to do is an elephant, and then you can find it if you go to the this is the actual elephant that we're going to draw, and if you go to paintology.com and then go to this link just below the video here, click on that and you'll see these links which shows the links to the actual drawing, and the channel is Produce. I have two channels, Produce and Paintology. You can see here, and then you click on the Produce. This is the drawing that you can download and follow along with me. So typically I draw with my phone like this, using my finger, but in this instance I'm going to use my actual stylus, and you can get a cheap stylus for next to nothing. And stylus is useful in the sense that when you make a lot of drawings, you can see the area that you're drawing, but I found it useful because I'm also doing quite a few drawings, and I'm getting a bit of cramp on my hands, my fingers. So I have a long stylus that I can just gently use, and that's the reason I use it. Not necessarily I can make different types of drawings. You can make good drawings with your thumb, with your fingers as well. So you've seen some of these drawings made with the fingers. So let's see a few drawings. Oh, and then I'm going to show you some resources as well, which you can turn to. The very, very important if you're trying to learn. This one, for example, is the Google Classroom. You'll find the link in the description. And this is classwork that's been structured for your learning with the Paintology app. Okay. So there you are. Lots of daily classes. You can work at your own pace and improve your drawing. Just keep in mind, I'm not teaching you the Paintology app itself. I'm actually teaching you techniques of art that are not usually applied to digital. And the reason for that is that most people in digital art just become heavily reliant on the tools. This is a drawing yesterday I made of the flower using, you will see the live tutorial, a rose, and you'll see that this was an excellent exercise on shading, just one brush. So again, you're not going to be able to make this kind of detailed drawing with digital tools, unfortunately. And I want to talk to you a little bit about digital tools. It's digital tools. If you pick something based on the tools, you are overlooking the fact that you need to develop techniques which are fundamentals to art, techniques of art, and this is what I show you. And if you're too focused on tools, you become slave to the tools in effect, and your drawing will always show up as digital because you are taking shortcuts with the tools. And here, you can see I did the blending myself. Everything was done by hand, and it was a lot fast. I did it in a space of an hour. I don't think it's easy to replicate this using the tools knowledge you have and creating this at such speed, because you'll be constantly accessing the tools, colors, blending, layers, you name it, everything, and then it won't look as natural. So this is what the difference is between other drawing apps and the Paintology app. So if you come to the Paintology app to dismiss its lack of tools, then you're not really interested in techniques, which is what takes you to this level of drawing detail. But if you are interested in learning fundamentals, core skills of art, this is a perfect way, and it applies to all the mediums, not just one medium. Digital media applies to any other medium. Tones is a fundamental parameter of drawing, and tones is what is going to make you a good artist. All right, so let's so that's the question on tools. So let's go ahead and start this drawing as we can. Go to exit. Okay, exit drawing. My painting. I'll go and show you another one that I did while at the same time on the two channels. So here is another one I did. It was again, I picked this in specifically to show you the tones, and the reason for black and white is because it actually enhances the tone. It actually tunes your mind to tones, which are crucial to good drawing. And we're going to continue to use the line brush, which we have here, and then I'm using the grayscale. Okay, so let's pick the drawing. So go to also, by the way, when you install the app, you have access to all these various tutorials that comes along with videos that you can draw to, and it will really help you. The whole philosophy of Paintology is not to give you just fun, quick fix and all that. It's actually designed to instill you with techniques, drawing techniques, that you can take it further and go beyond, just doodling and really make impressive drawings. So let's go to draw and then go to trace, and then we're going to pick yep. So we picked this elephant. So it was actually a request made by one of the YouTube subscribers who said they like elephants. So I thought, why not do this elephant drawing, yeah? And it's I actually did elephants with charcoal, and I enjoyed it. It was very nice, large drawings. It hangs on my sister's house on the wall. And a lot of other paintings I did, acrylics, charcoal, pastels, you name it. I've covered them all. And that's probably what's given me more insight to do drawings digitally in the traditional way. I'm also a very advanced user of Photoshop. I would never encourage beginners to use that. I use it only for illustrations, graphics, web graphics, logos, you name it. But I would not use it for drawing. Drawing to me is this pleasantry experience of doing what I'm doing here. So this is in the grayscale mode. You can see here, grayscale. You can see there, grayscale. That's the grayscale mode. And this allows us to pick up the grayscale colors really rapidly. It's actually an excellent way to learn drawing first. I would encourage you to do that. So this is the trace mode. If you're not, I'm going to give you a quick lesson if you're not familiar with trace bar. Here on the top half is the reference image, so you can use the color picker to get all the colors. Yeah, can you see the grayscale bar move? Yeah, depending on the color it's picked. And then here at the bottom is your canvas, so nothing there, so it will just pick white. Yeah. So how do we go about it? Well, normally when I look at this drawing, I sort of look at it in the perspective of as an artist, which is tones, and tones are so crucial to drawing. So if we're looking at tones, what are we going to do? We've got the line brush. I'm not going to add anything. Look, this density setting is something you'll learn when it comes to blending. And so I've got it at 15%, so 100% setting, which means that if I picked a gray color, let's say I pick this, the elephant's ear, I could just continue to draw that ear right there in that same flat toned color. You see that? So that obviously is not going to provide the detail, but it's actually the groundwork to start off the drawing. So we got 15%, and then let's see if I need to change this. I think 15% is all right. So we're going to use this approach. We're going to just pick the colors of the background here, and just the same color. I'm working with, then rotate the image, pick the color again, and just lay down the groundwork colors. Yeah, nothing, we're not doing anything odd. We just first pass. So this is no drawing experience required. You're not learning anything that's difficult. Okay, so here, and then and then we're going to pick these colors here. This color here. Oops. And has the ability that it actually improves your drawing strokes. We're not worried about those textures, just picking the color picker and just applying these tones that I'm looking at. So I've got it halfway, and just these tones. Can you see those dark tones? That should be a different color. And then you'll find that these colors that look very similar to the eye are in reality very different. You picked a lot of different colors, and I'll show you more of that in a little while. So here you can see there's a tone at work. As you zoom in, that's when you get really a good sense of what tones are. And then we're going to do that after we've done this first pass of the drawing process. I call it the drawing process. And the drawing process, it means that if you don't continuously draw, you don't know what the next step is. And most beginners don't understand that because they're too busy seeing an artist at work, and they just from going from zero to a marvelous piece of artwork, and they're not even contemplating how they got there. And then they feel that when they embark on a drawing, they have to have the same skill sets. Oh, please, come on. Let's be realistic about this, right? You honestly think that when you watch a 100 sprint runner run the 100 meters, that you're going to have to achieve the same thing on day one? It's a joke. That's a total, then you know that's a joke. So you need to understand that they got there through extensive training, extensive rigorous stamina, whatever, food intake, you name it, everything that requires them to be good at that particular sport. Anything that makes them improve their craft. And you should be doing the same thing. So this Because I'm not I didn't come from an art background, in case you want to know. This is all through the fact that I've developed this Paintology drawing app designed to make people learn to enjoy drawing in the digital medium without the stress of learning all the various tools. That takes away I would say it takes away the pleasures of drawing, but some people like it because they're able to see results right away, isn't it? That's the problem, is most beginners want to see results right away, which I was telling you earlier, and they don't understand that. And then when you offer something that gives you results earlier, right away, then naturally you're going to be happy and you go on that path. And then sooner or later you find that you're so dependent on it, you can't break yourself free from doing anything else. So if you become too reliant on the tools, you will become a slave to the tools, unfortunately. So always learn to free yourself, express yourself in other ways. And that's how I got into digital, even though I know digital has a different kind of approach, but I never looked at it like I have to use every tool under the sun to. So when I draw, you can see how I sort of pick the colors and just. When I actually make a drawing, I've actually posed that question to people about one drawing I did on my phone and asked, could you guess, on Quora, which I'm an active participant. So if you want to go to Quora and check out many of my listings and questions, and I think we just crashed here. This never happened to me. I think that's all. Look, sorry. Something happened and I don't know what. Oh dear. Well, that's why I said, now you can see why I say always save, yeah? So I forgot to save it, so I don't know what happened exactly. There was a Google form that just came up on the phone and just completely. Anyway, very quick, just go over it. Don't feel like it's the end of the world. Oh, I'm not picking the wrong thing, yeah. Very easy. We don't have to. We can do this really quickly. It's no big deal. All right. So what I was saying, yeah, I was saying that I did a digital drawing. It was of a car, right, and a vintage car and it looked very realistic. And I asked some of these. What do you call it? Quora. What do you think of it? And what medium do you think I used? Boy, I tell you, one response was for the grill, I think you used acrylics. For that, you used ink. For that, you used watercolor. So you can imagine that that really got them thinking. And then I told them, and I don't think they even believed me when I told them I used to do it on the phone digitally. Anyway, let's do this quickly. So we obviously lost a bit of time, but that's no big deal. I'm not too worried about that. So here, can you see the different tones? When you see those tones, just put them on. This is tuning your brain to tones. Alright, so let's save it in case something like that happens again. Maybe YouTube was doing some work on this. Alright, so got that. And just okay there. And then just look at these various tones and just don't worry about getting it right. Just pick up the tones, and I'm above the halfway position, as you can see. That's all I'm doing, laying down the first colors. What's here right now, the 100%. These colors, the background here, makes it easier to, because there's not much detail, obviously, right? Going really quickly. Right, there. I'm not worried about accuracy at all. No accuracy. Just picking the color picker to make sure I have the right tone. And then even though you know with your eyes you think that you have the right tone, but you'll be surprised with how the tonal variation change on this picture. And let's see what we have. Let's save this. So I'm a little bit worried that I had this crash. This was what, very rare, but anyway, there. Can you see it? There's the tones. That's my hour canvas. And let's look at the palette. Look at the number of grey tones here. Now you can see what an image consists of. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of tones in the original painting or original reference image. And think about the challenge that an artist has to do. They need to get those tones in the quickest way possible into a drawing. Right? Okay. Right. So here. Right. So just laying down. This is block coloring. This is called block coloring. It's a quick way for you to learn drawing without any drawing experience. Anyone can do this. Can you see if am I doing anything different? I'm just following what I'm seeing in trace, okay? Okay, so we got here. So we got this. This sort of has a look about an elephant, doesn't it? So let's try and take our brush size. Look, this is too big, so we're going to take our brush size to half that. Let's take it to 9% and see if we can get those tusks, you know. Those tusks are very important, and it's still quite big, but that's all right. We can get those areas that we haven't covered. And remember, it's not all about accuracy. It's more about getting these colors down in the first drawing pass. I call it the drawing pass, and there's a good reason for that, because there's quite a lot of drawing steps involved. Well, not quite a lot. Depends how realistic you want to make the drawing, okay? So let's see what we have here. Have we filled out? No, we need to fill out this. Yeah. So again, not worried about these grass, and you're thinking, how is he going to do this grass? You know. So what have we got here? See, we've done the first pass, and we're quite happy with that. So let's save that in case got that weird event that just happened a short while ago. And then now this sort of looks like a kind of an elephant, doesn't it? So what are we going to do now? Well, block coloring involves, we're going to continue with block coloring, and then towards the end, we actually apply our art techniques to provide details. And because it's all about speed and techniques and drawing quickly and rapidly, so you can get on with drawing many subjects. You've seen that how many subjects I've drawn, right? So what's the next thing we can do? Well, we've got that brush size at 9. We might as well zoom in and do provide some tonal details. What I mean by that is get closer to the details and see if you can replicate these colors that are more close to that particular area, and then you'll see that as you do that, you will get more of a tonal variation that is more closer to the actual object, right? These tones here, you see, and then you see these tones here, the dark. And because we've got a smaller brush, we're effectively getting more detailed tones in a more localized region, right? That's all we're doing. Look, there's a darker tone here. You can see it's a darker tone. So that's all I'm doing. And there's a bit of a lighter tone, right? That's all I'm doing. There. Look, just zoomed in. And now I'm working with a smaller brush. Right. There. Can we get that tail with this brush? Almost. Okay. And there. Can you see it? This is all the tones that are a little bit more detailed because we're now zoomed in closer, right? We now can see tones, and you're wondering, well, it's not really the texture. Here you are beginning to think like a beginner, thinking like a beginner. You're thinking, well, it's not there yet, so what are you doing, you know? Well, do you expect me to get there right away? No, you need to be working on these techniques, and that's what I'm showing you, how to get there, how to actually achieve your ultimate aim of making a good elephant drawing. Others can look back and say, wow, that was impressive. See, I'm just getting these tones here. Right. See, just adding more refinement. Think of it like the smaller brush adds more refinement. See, I'm adding more refinement. And this is an excellent way for you to start drawing because it doesn't require any skills, does it, really? See, we're just sort of brushing up the details that we couldn't do with a bigger brush. It took us really a matter of minutes to get the tones with a bigger brush, but we need to get obviously more details in there. Otherwise, this elephant is going to look like some kind of a jigsaw elephant. I don't know, some kind of some kind of an object that hasn't been quite been fairly like done crudely, right? That's all I'm doing is just following, and you'll see that this way of block coloring has actually Why is this changing color? Because that's the tonal variation that's going on around this elephant. That's all it is. Then you will begin to see more of what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see what we have here. Now you can see it's taking on some shape, isn't it? That smaller brush has created this kind of look, right? Look at that. It's actually created the thing. This is the perfect way of drawing without drawing. Basically, it means that you can really improve those fundamental skills required in drawing. And notice that, have I accessed any tools? No. Why would I want to do that? This is just the pleasure of what people get when they draw with traditional, right? And why shouldn't we have that same love and passion for drawing with digital? Why does it have to go to tools? And like I said, I have a whole article and post on how the digital drawing has evolved, and it hasn't evolved to cater to traditional artists like us. It evolved to cater to a big band of crowd when the internet revolution came around, and that changed the way people were doing business, commerce. No, so we're not doing anything on the outside yet. Look at this area. Look, there's a banding here. Look at that. So I've got an idea of what we're going to do there. This brush is obviously too big for that, for those trunks, right? So what we're going to do now is, let's save that. Okay, it's really very important that you enjoy the journey of drawing. If you don't, most of you will just give up, and a lot of people simply give up because they don't see what to do next. And the drawing process is actually does point you in the right direction. So what I'm telling you is here is that if you did not get here in your drawing, you would not have got to the next step. Okay, it's very important you understand this. So now so if you did not get here, you won't know what to do in the next step. So that's how the drawing process occurs for the good artists who takes it from zero to, because every time they're constantly thinking and saying, okay, I've got to get here, then I'll know what to do there. They never think about the final goal. I can't tell you. I have a vague idea of what's going to come out at the end, but I cannot tell you what it's going to look like. Just like I couldn't tell when I did that rose yesterday. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought. And it's probably because I'm learning as I'm doing this. I'm going to do something very interesting here. You'll notice that I'm going to try and take this color and then just stretch out, and then I'm going to actually not put any. Now this is entirely up to us, you know. We're controlling how this art piece is going to come at us. So I'm going to take out all this, which is masking this, its ferocious forehead, the elephant's forehead, and then I'm just gonna, so the tusk can be shown, and then maybe I'm going to put, so let's have a look at this now. Now you can see that is more better, isn't it? Right? So we have control over what we can do. So now this is beginning to look like and beginning to shape like a better elephant than what it was before. So now we're gonna go here, and guess what? Guess what? Yeah, you guessed it. I'm gonna take this down. That's quite a big. I'm gonna take this down to 4%, right? So let me show you what this does. Now that we have better control, look at the brush size is now can pick out tones in a much smaller region. Right, look at that. Right, so we're just going dab, dab, and that. Right, picking out those tones. Right, this will greatly improve your drawing. Trust me, it has for me. Is rapidly. I don't think there's any other way that you're going to improve your drawing. Look at this dark color. You can minimize that dark color by doing these lines here. I'll show you. So we go and do these lines, and then we add these lines, right, to give the impression of what these elephants have, these trunk lines, right? And that's what gives it the distinct look about an elephant, okay? So now I'm just adding some details, and you'll see that I'm just really tuning into the tones at a smaller level here. Can you see how I'm picking the color tones again and again, and then just shaping it? And what's that doing? It's really improving my drawing ability. I mean, my drawing strokes, because I'm now sort of tuned into it and I'm not thinking much. I'm just following what this is revealing to me, okay? Just following what I see. Nothing difficult, nothing complicated. Just letting my tones, look at these dark tones, right? Remember I came here earlier? Look at these dark tones. Now we're going to put these light tones in between, right? And then you'll see what a difference this can make to the overall drawing. Right, and then here, look at that, the dark tones, and then these lovely grey tones of the tusks, right there. And then you'll see how much detail that we've managed to get, and now you'll be really surprised. Okay, there. And it's not like we're drawing, are we? We're just following the tones. Let the tones decide what kind of color that should go on. That's the color picker. So let's look at it now. You see that? How that came out? Now it's beginning to look like an elephant, isn't it? So let's continue down this trunk. Okay, we can go as much detail as you want. So this is really an excellent way for you to learn about tones while at the same time having fun, isn't it? That's the important thing. You've got to have fun. What's the point of drawing if you don't have? Let's see that black that we picked. Watch the grey tone, and then just do the black where you see it, like that. I don't have to. Then pick a lighter tone here. Look, there, there, there. It's quite big. Can you see it? But I'm going to show you anyway. And then let's go here. Then let's go here. Just the effects. So you can see what these effects get there, right there. That's probably that's not the part of the body of the elephant. Okay, so I'm just doing the background plantation, and let's do its legs, right? Let's do the legs here, right there. Let's do the legs. So color picker again and again. Right, just getting, see how we're becoming more tuned to the tones. This is what many artists will try and teach you with pencil and paper, but now that you have the Paintology, if you're learning about tones, believe me, you're not gonna get an accelerated learning in tones than this way, because this color picker really does show the way, yeah? So let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. Look at the details. Now the trunk is almost done, isn't it? And then what we can do now is, I've got this step. Let me save it. Okay, I've saved it. And now I might ask myself, well, what's the next step you want to do, right? Well, you can see here, this is not something I'm enjoying at the moment. So if we look at that, I want to actually take this and then, so I want to do what I did, remember at the top, so there. So basically what I've done is I've taken the plants away, and now I've defined its trunk. I want to define its trunk, and here I'm not so happy, although it's got a big trunk here actually. I might reduce that here, right there, right, and then it's entirely up to us what to do. Okay, and then let's have a look. I think that's all right. And now what we can do is, how do we create detail? Well, let's think about that for a while. This is techniques, right? We're not letting tools decide how we're going to make this drawing, right? We're letting techniques define the way we should approach this. So I'm just filling in the white areas that I haven't covered, yeah? You know, these little areas that now we've got a lot of the drawing, you can see. Okay, so now how are we going to make this? I'm going to think I can actually add more detail to the elephant, and this is how I'm going to do it. So let's save this. Okay, learn to save, especially after what happened. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and then go there. Go to my drawing and click this button here. Can you see this button there? Oops. Can you see this button there? That's the button we're going to click back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right, from the image. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off making the most important part of the elephant, which is this trunk, the tusks, right? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refine this. So the way I would do this is that I know is this part is white. So in order to do that, sorry, it's not white, it's dark. So we're going to pick that color, and then we're going to take it down a bit, like 3%. Okay. So this is where I'm going to introduce the density settings. Let's just take that off for a while for now so I can show you what I mean by that. I'm going to take this to about 50–60%, yeah? So now what I do, I'm going to pick the color from there and then just look what happens when I do that. I'm building up a dark stroke. It's almost behaving like a how do you call it? Like a brush, isn't it? Like a pencil. Right, so here. Right, so I've taken it down a little more. So we're going to go into some kind of a sketching mode. And then here. Then if you don't get the colors, just use this. Okay, yeah. So even at 50%, it's really harsh. Right, then we got this brown, just replicating these tones. Right, if you don't get the tones that you want to do, use your grayscale there. There it is. And then we got this lovely white color. We want to show that right there. That is it. And then here, got the tip of that white here. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. See, that's looking like a tusk, isn't it? And it's not bad, is it? Okay, we'll do the same with the other tusk. Okay, here. So save it. Right, so we're going to use this method of flicking back and forth and just get the dark color first too. And if you're not getting the dark color, just get this. And it's still a big brush. But the thing is, with the beauty of the big brush, it's not dark there, so it's dark here. So that's what we're doing here. And then we have this white tip here. So we're just applying the white tip here. And then we have this little bit of white here. And there you are. And then do we have any more white? No, we have some grayish tone there. And then do we have anything sort of a more grayish? Right there. Okay, and this goes to this dark region. So 2.4%. Look at the brush size we're at. And then we got this gray here. This really, I'm telling you, tunes your. Look at the tusk that we've got right there, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to carry on working here, right, to this bit of this, and then that has these lovely tones here to give it some shape, and then it has this line here, right? Remember, we're using a large brush, and you may think, wow, you know, this brush seems even too big, right? But that's fine. That's fine. That means you're learning. There. Can you see here? I got this area here, and I want to do here, and then you can pick the color that you want there. Let's just put that in there. right there, then there, okay, there, all right, and then we got these marks here, there, just put them in there, no problem. And then what do we have here? We got this dark tone here, and we can say, well, we're gonna try and drive some, because these marks give you the texture that you're looking for in that elephant drawing. I've just got this and there. So I'm looking back and forth, and believe me, this is something I'm learning as well as I'm doing. And then what do we have here? We've got these lines, but we're not trying to look at these lines there, because it's still quite big. And for the sake of argument, I'm just trying to show you, for the sake of demonstration. There, can you see those now here? We've got this here, and then these just sort of goes like that here. Right, so don't think you should use a small brush and get technical with it. Try and avoid that. Just do what I'm doing with the large brush. See how much you can really get away, because it's a lesson on tones, the tonal variation. That's all you're trying to learn. And you can see those tones are carrying into the eyes there. That's all you're doing. Look at that, the details of that. And then you've got some dark tones that are happening here. This happens again. Right there. Right, and then we just there, can you see it? Sort of running here. And then here. Okay, there. Then here. And then some sort of a white here, look there. I didn't know what that is exactly, but look, it's more of a white tone there. And it's sort of running. It's the flap of the ear, isn't it? Right, and then here, just developing tones. It's a new approach that I'm using, but there, can you see that dark around the eye? There, just do that. And then you've got this little bit on the top. There, okay? And then you got this color. Just formulate this color, blend it in. And use the tones of the on the right, you know, the grayscale tone variation. And then if you've got any dark here, you've got dark here, just showing that shape. There, you can see. Right, giving that shape, and that is shape there. Right, and then we got something here. Right, and then here. Then goes all the way here. Right there. Right, so let's have a look what it looks like. Wow, what a very difference it makes, right, isn't it? So you can see how we pulled out the trunk, pulled out the elephant, and more details on the elephant with just a little bit more And now you can see, when you look at this, you can see what the next step you need to do in the drawing. So basically, I haven't done much. I have just, the only creative part is that I'm looking at this back and forth and then just replicating the tones. So remember, this is an exercise in tones, right? It's an exercise in tones, and I'm maintaining a large brush. If I wanted more detail, I would probably use a different brush, but right now, you know what? I'm happy with this brush because I'm demonstrating what you need to see in terms of tones. I'll just do this hatched pattern, right? And here we've got this lovely bit of stuff going on here. Obviously it's fairy. And then we can add. It doesn't have to be. Because the eyes, when it moves away, it tries to formulate. There, because I'm just doing that with one thick brush. I want you to learn, not do a photographic drawing, but to learn. There. See how we can keep that there. Look there. And it's very easy to, and here. Then we can go here and then say, all right, we know you need this. And just right there. Then here. Okay. All right, let's see what we have here. So much better, isn't it? Now let's try and put a bit of texture on the rest of the elephant, like here. Let's look at that ear. I mean, it has a large ear naturally, right? But it's not a flat piece of color, obviously, right? So we're gonna try and put texture into that. So let's look what we have here. So you got the dark shade here. Right, so we can stick to this and then change it up a bit, and then look, the dark tones here coming from that ears, and just look at that, dark tones here. So just, and then you can see some tones here, and then if it's too harsh, take it down, and then you can see there's tones here which resembles the flap underneath this. Right, and then we get clearly a shape here, this around here, and so we can do that. And then we have this here, part of the ears, okay, and then we have this color. Right, just add detail like this, nothing, it's just a sketch, and then add these details. This really tunes you into there, can you see it there? And then just work with these colors grayscale. That's what I meant to say, grayscale. So now you're actually, see that? There, Here you're bringing in the colors here, the colors you want, texture, and then here you got some more, and then you got this very light tone here that's working right there. See that light tone? Here it's like not too light, but see that there. Okay, and then even a bit more lighter tone here as well. So that's why I kept the brush size as much as just large as possible I could. This texture, we're just developing texture. Not just the texture. Let's look there. So much better, isn't it? Looks like that looks like a fully fledged ear, isn't it? So now let's look at that. Get to the belly. Do exactly the same thing. So what do we have here? So here we have this little area here. Let me show you what I mean. This area I'm trying to cover, okay? So you can see that we need, so we go still follow the technique of right there, trying to emulate what's there. But if it gets too light, just lighten it, okay? That's it. And then look at all these textures. Wow, how are we going to do that? Well, we don't have to follow the exact texture like quality. We can just, well, first let's lay down the tones here, right? Look at these tones here. So we've got these tones here, just working on these tones, right? Have I got the right tones? Probably a bit darker there. Right there. And then we got a light tone here. We did carry this. See that? This really helps you. So light tone, see that dark tone? It's not complete blodge colors, so we're gonna create that tone. It's right there. Have we got that? Sort of. But although I feel it needs to be a bit dark near the ears, so we're going to do that right there, and there, right there. So just giving the impression, this is the part of the leg, right? There, can you see it? Leg. And then we have this here, this color. Just make sure we got the right color. Right, can see it there. All right, so that's all we're doing is trying to create very close, but not exactly to the tonal values using these quick, swift brush strokes. Look at that underbelly there. So we can go here a little darker and create that underbelly shape. Look there, right? So if the first right there, This is the black flap that exists in these elephants here. It's sort of like a sack. I don't know what it is, but it's a sack. So here we're going to create this kind of a textured look. Don't know how I'm going to do it. First lay down whatever you can. Take the tone down just and see and check your drawing. It comes, you can see it's a bit darker to this side here. Right, so that's what I'm doing. Oops, it's a bit too dark. And then you just go. Actually, there's an improvement coming along on the app, which I want to share with you. Okay, there. And then what do we have here? We have a sort of a black tone here. Notice I still got it at 44% to give me a degree of control. Look at that, that's a part of the feature, so we want that. Right. And then what do we have here? And we have this here. It's very distinct, so we're gonna try and make that like just follow these strokes to textures. All right. So what have we got here? Look, see, we formed some kind of a textured look to this drawing, isn't it? It's just like drawing with pencil and paper, isn't it? How is it different? You tell me if this is any different to drawing with pencil and paper. It's just that I have more control over the pen, yeah, and the way I'm drawing. So let's carry on and finish this. Look, this beautiful texture here. So again, it's just making marks. They're just following and then just trying different. Look, you can see that there's a little darker here. Right, then it's not too dark, so let's take it down a bit. Yeah, and then we have this part. Right, and what we have here, we've got the dark part here. So then take this dark area. Right, this is really improving and trust me, I haven't drawn this way for a while. So it's all learning. I'm learning as I'm doing this. It's a black here. So this is, you're drawing like what you see, right? You know how they say, draw what you see, but really, you're not going to be able to do it. There's never a better time to draw than now, I believe, because of the digital medium. It's a wonderful medium, but it's used, in my opinion, a little too much reliance on the tools. And you can see what you can do, right? Just like, it's basically like someone who draws with pencil. And here, I can see these marks, and I'm just trying to create a form of texture, look to it. Right there. And then to the top there, can you see it there? That's not quite fixed. So we can get used to this color scale. Just give that sort of a little bit of a texture rather than a blob. You can see it looks like a blob here. Look here and here and here. It looks like 2-3 blobs, right? So that's what we need to diffuse it through textures. Let's look at it. Okay, you can see tonal variations going on here, right there, and then I could reduce it to bring back the tones here, right? And then it's look at that. That's a distinct area here, so we need to mark that, right? So when you come to an edge like this, you really need to mark that area clearly, define that, okay? There's no way around it. And the more you do it, the more better it will be. And here, I'm gonna go here, we don't know, just do that, and then here, there, can you see it? There, just, we got anything, we got sort of a lighter color here, not right, and then we see how we sort of managed to merge, take that, and then you can see that tail, something, we're right down there because it just take that, right there, created a sort of a, there's a lighter tone, can bring that along here, right, giving us sort of some sort of a depth to it. And let's take a look. Now you see how we brought out detail in the elephant. This is like drawing with pencil and paper, isn't it? So let's, now I can see right away, let's save that. I can see right away that I've arrived at this step, and there are obviously some things that we need to do. This is almost like chalk drawing or charcoal. You can see right away that this area needs addressing. Same thing. Well, we've got these bushes that are obviously playing a part in this. Let's make these bushes appear like bushes, all right? And what we have here, we have that, we have this part, which is the part of the leg, goes down there, right? Okay, and then let's finish this. Okay, look at the tones. Right, look at the tones. They're sort of changing, and just add some kind of texture, right? Darker, lighter, whatever you think that might. There, it's a bit darker there, right here. So add that, no big deal. And then you have, make sure you have that darker area that on that side. And then let's go and look here. It's like, here we have some dark tones. Okay, and then what do we have here? We have that tail. Is that a tail? I thought that was the tail. Not sure. Which is the tail? I'm forgetting now. So I can't tell which is the tail. I'm assuming the top part is the tail. So I'm going to leave it like that. So we've covered, can you see we've covered this area here? Right? It looks so much better than before, right? So now what we can do is, can we add more detail to this area of the leg? Well, let's try it. Too dark, but let's see. Not too dark, don't use too dark. just add some texture. Yeah, we need to take this leg a little bit there to that. Right there. That's it. Are there any light tones? There are actually light tones happening as well. So we just give a sense of depth to this solid leg. And then what do we have here? We have this. Let's retreat this back a little bit. And then we have this tree. It's not part of this thing here. So it's not part of the thing of the elephant. So we might as well take it back. Right. And then let's see what we have. Yes, that looks all right, doesn't it? All right, and then I can see this sticks out. That's like a blob, isn't it? You want to do something to that. That's great. Okay, so we know what to do with that, right? Very easy. Give it depth. There. Just take it dark here because it's there, and then take it down because it's like here it's not that dark. And then what do we have here? Light color. Yeah, just add these dose variations that looks, gives the illusion. That is hind leg. Yes. Or not. No, it's just okay, so here. Let's see if that's added anything. And then we have the black here with the vegetation, the plants. And then we can add more to it. Let's see if we fix that. I think it's all right. Now it's a question of just, do you see how we created that area here? Did you see how we created this here? Okay, there, look, this bit here, the belly, we shaped it, it automatically came into life. And now what we can do is we can just finish the plantation around, and let's see what we have. We have this dark area here, so let me change it. Then let me see. Experiment. I'm sorry, but you have to experiment. Let me change it to, and then just, wow, we've got a very dark area, so we don't want, just to give that sense of plantation. Right, right there. And let's see if that works. If it works, then we'll keep at it. Yeah, there you are. It's working, isn't it? Right there. Get that. Seems to be working. Right down here. Let's take that up there. Right, so this is the setting I have here. 16%, 8.65%. All experiment. Nothing unique. And then pick this color here and then change it. Add a bit more depth as though it's in the back foreground. The background giving the impression there's something going on, and then add this color here, giving the impression there's something in the background there, right? We don't know what that is, so we're going to do, right? Just make it look diffused. And that's what I did with this. 16% made it look very diffused. Bring some of that white down as though it's in the background, right? Yeah, lot to play with the digital medium. Trust me, it's a wonderful medium. Right there. And then we can see that that's like almost like a cutoff point, so we don't want that. So do we want it to stand out? Yes, stand it out. Right. Now you can't really tell if this was done in, and then we can bring some of that down here, this area here. Right. Just make it uniform, different colors, nothing to, that's that area where it could be a shadow as well, so make it a little bit darker, right? Very quick. See how you can do things really quickly. Have a look there. And then what we have here, let's move this here. And then follow the same techniques. We've got the same, make that look like there was. It's probably further away, set back in some ways, right? And then we could say we still have this field here going on, right? So the elephant can stand out more. All right. Right, and then I feel like I could reduce this brush and give some more character to the foreground here. So let's see if we can do that. Then the brushes, so let's start playing with that, okay? Right. Okay, there. Oop, I didn't like that one, so I'm going to take that out. So it's entirely under our control. Right, entirely under control. Just using right there. And then what we can do, I'll show you another trick, is basically bringing out the white here. Look, touches of white. Look what that does. See that? There. See that? It just adds a little bit more character. Right there. See that? There you are. I think we did a good job. So I'm going to call it finished. And I'd like you to do something similar and post it for me to give you some feedback and see what you think of it. And we'll do the next drawing, which will be on Paintology. So if you want to follow along with me to the next drawing, it's the bears. I'm doing bears on that. I will be doing that probably in 10-15 minutes. But let me sign this. So this was very much like an exercise in pencil drawing, isn't it? Paintology. There you are. So we'll call it finished. And I hope you can subscribe and look for more, so I can carry on and doing this, bring you daily. And I hope you've checked out Paintology. If you haven't downloaded it, it's a really fun way of drawing, not on your phone. And this is done on my phone, and you can see what you can achieve with minimum effort, So I hope you can learn these techniques. So look at digital drawing differently and not just a bunch of tools that you need to be confined to. So did you see me change tools? I don't think you did. I think you saw me doing drawing most of the time. So these are all techniques. That's all borrowed from traditional, and that's why traditional art is so popular still to this day, yeah? Okay, so we'll talk to you again soon, and hope to see you again soon. And thank you. Just to remind you that I'm doing a Paintology probably in 10, 15 minutes. So look for that as well. Thank you. Bye bye.